You know, the MV-1 is aptly named MV-1 because it is in fact the first mobility vehicle. It's interesting to note that here we are 20 years after the passing of the Americans with Disability Act, and there's never been a factory direct automobile that's been designed and engineered and factory produced from the ground up for wheelchair accessibility and meet or exceed the American with Disabilities Act's requirements. So we're very proud to present and introduce this car to the world, really, and really one of the last areas of accessibility for wheelchair users and others with ambulatory issues.
I mean, a lot of it, the products we saw tonight are kind of like, duh, why hasn't someone thought of that before? And I mean, it goes for this one too.
Well, exactly, and anybody who's had experience as a wheelchair user or as a caregiver, and I have with my sister was a wheelchair user for many years, and I can't tell you what a vehicle like this would have meant for us and for her in terms of her everyday life and the accessibility into areas that she felt excluded from. You know, normal things that you do as a family, going out for a casual dinner or a Sunday drive or virtually anywhere. And in so many vehicles, whether they're conversions or others, it presents very much a challenge. And in many cases, there's a dignity aspect to it. Many vehicles that are wheelchair accessible as conversions, you may have seen, you're put in the vehicle on a ramp in the rear of the vehicle and almost treated as luggage. And it's not a way that any of us should be treated. And if you ever tried sitting there, and I have, in a wheelchair in the rear of a vehicle loaded like they are, it's just an awful feeling. And our vehicle, when you see it, you'll note, and please look at it on VPGautos.com, and you could get a virtual tour of the vehicle and soon to be in your home city, wherever you are, in a dealership that we'll name shortly. You'll see that there's no passenger seat. So you drive up the ramp or roll up manually, and the ramp has about extended lengthwise in a 6-to-1 aspect ratio. We have a shorter deployment at 4-to-1, which is ADA compliant, exceeds ADA at 6-to-1. You ride right up and turn right, and you're sitting shotgun right next to the driver. And as kids, what did we always want to do? I got shotgun. And I can't tell you how many times as we went around the country that people in wheelchairs, when they sat up front next to the driver, there was a point in time, all of a sudden they looked over and said, you know how long it's been since I sat up here? And I'm able to talk to the driver and smack them when they're driving too slow or too fast or not turning at the right time. And you know, it's just part of our world that's not right. And we need to make accessibility for all in every aspect of our life, and we're proud to have that, and certainly proud. As I said, one of my sisters was a wheelchair user, and she suffered with MS, and tonight I'm sure she's looking at this event and at this vehicle, which inspires me on behalf of her through my involvement years ago directly with MS, and now indirectly through trying to help others with it, to see the tremendous progress that you have made. And I just have to tell you, just on behalf of Connie, that you know, we're just so happy the strides that you've made, and just hope that everyone has the ability to live a long life and not be discriminated against in any aspect, and to have accessibility in all aspects of their life. And I'm happy to be able to do a small part to help that.
So why did you guys get involved in the Vinci Awards?
It's interesting. One of the board members for the Bonacani Fund, and Mark Bonacani is a young man who was injured 25 years ago playing football. His father was a Hall of Fame football player. Nick Bonacani was captain of the famous no-name defense of the 1972 Dolphins, which was the only undefeated pro football team all the way through the Super Bowl. One of the members of our team, Mark Bonacani, who's the president of the Miami Project, and the Bonaconte Fund. Mark was a college football player who suffered a spinal cord injury making an ordinary tackle. His father was a famous Hall of Fame pro football player, Nick Bonaconte. He was the captain of the 1972 Miami Dolphins, which was the only undefeated pro football team through the Super Bowl. And Mark was left a quadriplegic, and he made a decision that day with his father that they were going to dedicate the rest of their life to find a cure for spinal paralysis. And they work at the Lois Pope Center in Miami, and started the Miami Project and the Bonaconte Fund, and one of their board members recommended the MV-1 and nominated it for the Vinci Award. And Mark has been involved with us in the project. You can see him on VPGautos.com. He's featured there, the Bonaconte Fund, and he had so much valuable input into the design of the vehicle, and they nominated us for this award. And we were just so pleased to have been nominated, and then just thrilled to have won the category.
How important is it to you that you won?
It's extremely important. Validation from the community is the most important validation that you can receive. And in everything that we do, our governing brand idea is the idea that reads as follows: inspired by you and thoughtfully engineered for you. That's the acid test of the design of the vehicle, of the services that we'll provide to our customers, and the services we'll provide to you after you purchase the car. Just as an example, with our vehicles, you'll get a warranty just like every other car, and you'll get 24/7 roadside assistance during the warranty period. But what we heard from the community is that, you know, our converter gives us roadside assistance, and they need to, because the car breaks down all the time because it was never designed for that purpose, which is one of the real primary reasons that we have a purposely built vehicle is so much better. But if it does break down for any reason, we'll provide you that with that roadside assistance like the converter, only the converter or a lot of roadside assistance services will take the car, they'll go fix the car, but they leave somebody in the wheelchair there with their cell phone. We'll have roadside assistance that will be able to accommodate a wheelchair occupant. So everything we do has to pass that acid test, inspired by you, thoughtfully engineered for you, whether it's the vehicle or the services we provide. As an example, roadside assistance is one of those.
That's awesome. Dave, you said a lot. I think I'm good.
Okay, thanks. Sure, you can cut and paste some of it.
Yeah, right.